this is one of the biggest stories this week, and it's one that caught us off guard and caught the whole wrestling community off guard. Is R-Truth was just in a signature match a week ago at Saturday night's main event against John Cena. R-Truth has been one of the all-time legends. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about it. He said his contract will not be renewed. And same with Carlito to a lesser extent. Not as big news as R-Truth, but also in the same mindset. Contract not renewed. So when you saw this, we both, I think you texted me it, and I was about to say, you know what? I just saw that too. It caught the wrestling world off guard. It's one of those guys that everyone loves. Any storyline R-Truth is in, we love him, and yet it doesn't look like WWE sees him in their future. What do you think about this and the fact that R-Truth is soon enough going to be a free agent and not part of the WWE, it appears?
It's sad news, man. I think WWE stands for, World Wrestling Entertainment. And who's been more entertaining than R-Truth in the last 5 years on the roster on a consistent basis at that?
Yeah,
This is
including a
someone,
week ago. A week ago.
bad. And from what I'm seeing, like his Ron Cena shirts were actually doing pretty well. So to me,
Sold out.
this is shocking news, in my opinion. Got a chance to meet R-Truth back in January at the Netflix premiere in LA. And when I tell you, this guy was so dope. Even after the red carpet event was done and we're packing up all our stuff, he took time to talk to all the workers, all the camera, and take pictures. He was just a gentleman, man, heart of gold, man. So when I saw this news, it was like, wow, that's nuts. And I get it. He's coming, like, he's up there in age, and he's not in too many programs, but he is always that guy that you can go to entertain the fans. And he just did it. He had a sense of pride in doing it. And there's not a lot of guys or gals who are that entertaining on a consistent basis. Because right now I'm looking at the roster. Aside from like a Chelsea Green, who's really out there putting smiles on people's faces on a consistent basis?
Yeah, Gable right now. Gable kind of pulls it off. The Miz, when he's done correctly, has had it. And clearly
Yeah.
the Miz seemingly wasn't too happy about this as a guy that's, tag teamed with him many times over the years. But that becomes the bigger issue, as we said, is
Yeah.
you start to look at a few years ago, and this is, look, we're not going to be critical of TKO, so to speak, altogether.
No,
But in
not
this
at all.
regard, it's a different business than what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where a guy like R-Truth was on 200 house shows, 250 house shows. So even if he wasn't doing the TV rounds every week, there was a reason to have a guy like him out there. He can cut a live promo at any house show, first match, last match, whatever it may be. The fans will love it. He'll be perfect in that situation. They're not doing that anymore. It's
No.
television, and that's about it. Now, there's a lot of TV, but on the other hand, they also have a developmental program with great results. They're calling up those developmental people in the women's and the men's division quite frequently. And when you start to look at bottom line, and when you're TKO, it's more bottom line than maybe under Vince, where he was all encompassing of 250 house shows that
Yeah.
he was always going to have a role for R-Truth with. Now you're looking at it and you're saying we have cheaper talent who's probably better long term. And on the other hand, if this guy's not on TV every week, why are we paying him this amount
Yeah.
based on the fact that we can call somebody up, pay them a lot less, have them on TV more? It's understandable, the business decision. I mean, Carlito also not very young either. He's been around and he's been there for a long time too, off and on. But that's the decision they clearly made. I don't think it's a slight, like, meaning I don't think there's any ill will towards R-Truth or Carlito. Odds are R-Truth's probably in the Hall of Fame within the next couple years, and I think he'll get a very warm ovation there when he comes back. But in the meantime, it is a different business, and if you're not doing house shows and it's all about TV, it's a little harder to justify having the bloated roster if you're not on TV all the time. And knowing the fact there's 10, 20 people in NXT that are chomping at the bit that Shawn Michaels can call up anytime that Triple H approves of.
Yeah, this it's a tough position because if you're a guy like the Miz, for example, are you kind of looking over your shoulder like, hey, my time might be done here? Because, like you said, it's all about TV, it's all about these PLEs, and like you said, even though there are a lot of hours, it's not a lot of space with such a impactful roster. We get it. We work in corporate. We understand like tough decisions got to be made, but as a fan, you're not trying to hear all that. as a fan, you're not trying to hear, oh yeah, we have to cut this guy. All you care about is the fact that, man, this was someone who put a smile on my face every week, and now he's no longer there, and we don't. That doesn't make sense to us. Especially coming off a main event match with John Cena, one of the top matches with John Cena. The timing is crazy, but at the end of the day, like you said, it comes down to the bottom line. We're not here to criticize business decisions. We're fans, but at the same time, we understand the fan perspective as well, which is what
And
makes the show, which is what's going to make this show really, really pop for sure.
And this also comes a week after the announcement of them pulling WrestleMania from New Orleans. So that's another thing too, is it's not like, if you look at the last few weeks, R-Truth had his biggest match in a long time. Then there was the announcement that his contract's not renewed. And then there also, in that same 7 to 10 days, you had the announcement of New Orleans no longer gets Mania out of nowhere. So all of that, those are not necessarily the storylines that TKO and WWE wanted lined up together. So that's where, if it was just one of those, I think it'd be easier. But when it's like your corporate decision followed by another corporate decision, now it's like the domino effect of the fans being like, well, hold up a second. What's going to be the story next week? And you hope that's not the case, but you understand that's where the internet wrestling community is going to go. And look, R-Truth has given us great moments over the years. He's an all-timer. He's somebody who, as we said, a definite future Hall of Famer. And John Cena gave him that moment. If anything, he's going to go out as somebody who we remember, as you said, Ron Cena selling merch, getting it sold out on Saturday night's main event.